Hello, everybody. Welcome to this live. This live session is part of the Diwali Detox Week. I hope, first of all, happy Deepavali to all of you. I hope that you guys are having a really nice time, a really nice weekend, and we really hope you don't have knee and back pain issues. But in case you do, you can please reach out. We'll be I'll be adding Dr. our esteemed specialist for this session right now. Please wait until then. Until then, you can please send this live link to your loved ones in case they would like to add or ask more questions.
Hello.
Hi, Dr. Yeah, how are you?
Hi, doctor. Hi, doctor. Happy Diwali. How are you?
Thank you. Same to you. I'm really good.
All right. Let me just introduce him to all of you. So we are here with Dr. Adarsh Annappa Reddy. He's an orthopedic and joint replacement surgeon, and he's also the executive director of Sunshine Hospitals, Hyderabad. So he's joined our live all the way from Hyderabad on a Sunday. Thank you for that. And somebody was asking what the topic is today. It is about knee and back pain issues. Let me just give a context to our viewers right now. So the reason why we've picked knee and back pain issues is that now that all of you could have strained your back and your joints and your knees while cleaning for Diwali, I guess we will have to help you in case you have pain because of repeated cleaning. Hi, doctor.
Hi, is this better?
Yes, much better. And I seem to like the scenery also around you. It's really nice too, that you're around trees.
Yeah.
Right. So, doctor, today we are talking about knee and back pain issues as such, and we picked this as a topic, as part of the Diwali Detox Week. So, before we begin, would you like to talk about knee pain and back pain in general as such, according to how you've been looking at patients that come
definitely.
to you?
So, thing is, the knee and back pains are the most common complaints that we get in our OP as an orthopedic surgeon. Most common, I would say, back pains, and then second most common are the knee pains. And now, especially when people are working from home, they have long hours in front of the system, and they don't have good postures. So that actually aggravates both the knee pains as well as the back pains.
Right.
So that's why there's something known as ergonomics, which is very important. Ergonomics means preparing your workstation and your workplace to suit your body, to make sure that your body is working well without any stress on the back, without any stress on the shoulders, on the neck, and on the knees. Okay? So,
Right.
and especially now we're speaking about the festive season. You have a lot of pujas going on. You have, there are people who are lighting diyas and busting crackers and all that. So all these things if they're not done in the right way, they can definitely cause issues on the back as well as the knees. So that's what I wanted to talk about today.
Right, doctor. Absolutely. I guess another addition that I would like to make is that with the amount of people sitting and working from home, I guess at least 1 in 4 software employees who are working from home develop some kind of low backache, and at least 40% of them end up facing some kind of mental distress because of this back pain too. So we already have a few queries coming in. So Ayush Agarwal says, my mother is facing pain in knee and back. Please help. So I guess, Ayush, I hope we're assuming that your mother is between the age range of 45 and 60, 65. So keeping that in mind, I guess we can, doctor, would you throw some light on this?
Yeah. So usually, now the people who are attending this session are usually around, I think, the 30-year age group. So their parents will probably be in the 50s or the 60s. So at that age, these kind of problems are very common. Now, these are obviously not related to work. Like our age group will be more related to work. But in the older age group, it's more because, I'm so sorry about this. I don't know if you're able to hear what I'm saying.
I can. It's clear. Please continue.
Yeah,
yes.
I had to come out of the house to get a better signal. Yeah, so
that's all right.
Yeah, so the elder age group are more because of wearing out of the joints. Okay,
right.
So especially the knee pain. These are osteoarthritis is the most common cause of pain in the elderly age group, above 50 years of age. And what happens there is the gap in between the two bones of the knee starts to wear away. The cartilage in the knee joint starts to wear away. It's very common, especially above 55 years of age, in women especially.
Right.
And back pain, again, it is because of mechanical issues. What happens is the muscles around the back, they start to become weak. We don't ever concentrate on those muscles. Even when we work out, we concentrate on the biceps, we concentrate on the chest, but we never actually think about the back muscles, lower back. That's the reason.
Right.
So for the
Right.
elder age group, osteoarthritis is the one. But for the younger age group, there's something known as chondromalacia of the patella.
Right.
So that's also
Right.
known as runner's knee in common terms. So what basically is happening there is the cartilage is not getting worn out, but it gets soft. It gets soft. So for that, there are some
Right.
very simple exercises that need to be done, and just changes in some lifestyle modifications should be enough. Like you should try to avoid sitting on the floor, try to avoid squatting as much as possible. Whenever you're sitting at the desk, get up. Every 1 hour, get up, walk around for 5 minutes, and sit again. So these are some simple modifications that can be done for that.
Right, doctor. Right. Thank you so much for answering that question. So, Ayush, I guess, yes, and another thing is that in this live, if anyone wants to ask questions in Hindi, please feel free to, and we will be able to help you out. So, as doctor said, that although surgery modalities are there, lifestyle habits also have to be really important. And taking that in mind, there are two people asking the same query, Shahid and M.R. Gandhi, who says he's got severe backache. So, taking severe back pain, like how would our approach be to somebody who has severe backache?
Very good question. So before answering that, I just mentioned something that you mentioned in the earlier sentence. You did speak about surgical modalities for the knee pain. So that is a total knee replacement, or I specialize in something known as partial knee replacement. Usually at the age of 30 to 50, that's never required. Even if it is osteoarthritis, even if the joints have worn out, there's still a lot of time till you reach stage 4. Stage 4 is the final stage after which surgery is required. But till stage 4, even up to stage 3, exercises and lifestyle modifications are more than enough. Okay?
Right.
So now coming to the back pain, especially in the younger age group, as I said again, it's the office habits, the working habits that we never take care of. These kind of things have to be corrected to correct the back pain. It's just basically a strain on a load which is falling on the lower back. Now, at the office, what you need to do is, when you're sitting at your desk, make sure you have a small pillow, just a small pillow which comes and sits behind the curve of your lower back. That helps to maintain the curve. The curve should be in a concave like this. Okay? You should maintain the curve of the back, especially when you're sitting at the desk. The second thing you need to do is, when you're sleeping, try to make sure that the bed is not too soft, that your whole body goes out of shape, and it should not be too hard either, especially for the lower back pains. These two things will definitely help the back pains. And after all of this, once the acute pain settles down, you have to make sure that the muscles become stronger for the future. So for that, there are some very simple exercises that can be done. You can just Google them. They're called lower back exercises. And there are some Superman poses and there are camel poses. These are different kind of exercise that you need to do on a regular basis to make sure that the back pain reduces.
A lot of questions are coming in with respect to the correct postures as such right now. So I'll begin with another question. So somebody called Geek Vani has asked this question. I'm 28 years old and my knees have constant pains while bending. So constant paining in the knees for a year after I got typhoid. So because I'm a teacher and I'm in constant motion, during lockdown it disappeared, but now it's back. So this is, all right, 28 years old, a woman who's a teacher and has had constant knee pain.
Okay. As I said, 28 years old, a person with knee pain is usually because of chondromalacia. It's not wearing out of the joint yet. It's more of softening of the cartilage. So in that situation, as I said, make sure that there are very specific exercises for the knee joint, which strengthen the muscles around the knee joint. That's the quadriceps muscle, and that reduces the load on the knee joint. Okay. So this has to be done regularly. They're quite simple exercises. You can do it while you're sitting and watching TV. You can do it while you're at your desk. You can even do it just before you sleep. But you should try to make sure you do at least 45 minutes to 50 minutes a day overall. You can add up 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes in the evening should be fine. Second thing is, as you're a teacher, you may be either sitting for long hours or standing in one spot for long hours. Try to avoid that. So the knee joint has a kind of a lubricant or an oil kind of thing known as synovial fluid. That gets jammed up if you don't have motion in the joint. So every 1 hour, put an alarm on your phone. Every 1 hour, just say, put an alarm, get up for 5 minutes, walk around for 2 minutes and sit again. The same thing if you're going to watch a movie or something, because a long 3 hours movie, you get an interval in between. Get up, move around, go buy some popcorn and sit again. Of course, I don't know when we're going to go back to movie theaters, but when that day comes, this is what you need to do.
Right.
Exercises are the most important. One more thing, some lifestyle modifications. Avoid sitting on the floor. Avoid sitting with your legs crossed. Avoid sitting squatting. And try to minimize climbing up and down stairs as much as possible. I know it's not practical always, but as much as possible, minimize climbing up and down stairs.
Right. So I guess, Vani, you have received the explanation for your question right now. So there's another very interesting topic that even I wanted to ask you about. So now you have various mattresses outlets in the in the market where everyone's like, you know, this is like so soft you sleep like a baby and stuff like that. But then it is not true that, you know, a mattress that's too firm or too soft is still not good enough for the back. So someone asked about sleeping habits being the cause of back pain. So doctor, what do you think would be the right appropriate posture and the right appropriate mattress in order to keep it?
Coming to mattress first, the mattresses, see, sometimes people do think that a very, very soft mattress is good. It's not true, because what happens is, as I told you, the lower back has a curve. Okay, this is the curve. It curves forwards. Okay, even behind the neck, it curves forwards. Okay, these are known as cervical and lumbar lordosis. Okay, when the curve is forwards like that. So that has to be maintained. Whether you're sitting, whether you're sleeping, whether you're standing, you should try to maintain the normal curvature of your back to have good relief from pain and to avoid pain altogether. Now, when the bed is too soft, what happens is your back curve is not going to be maintained. It's going to become like a concave curve backwards. So you should try to avoid that completely. Very hard mattress is also not very good either. A medium softness of mattress is good. There are some things known as memory foam nowadays, which take the contour of the body, and then they remain in that contour for the remaining foreseeable future. That's one thing. That's about the lower back. Now, a lot of people also get neck pain. Now, neck pain is also very important, and neck pain is also very easily avoidable by changing your sleeping habits. What some people do is they tend to use 2 or 3 pillows, right? So what happens when you use too many pillows is your head goes forwards and the normal curvature of the neck is lost. Okay? So instead of doing that, use one good pillow and take a small towel, roll it up into a kind of a cylinder and place it under the neck when you're sleeping. By doing this, what happens is you maintain the normal curvature of the neck forwards. Second thing is, when you're at work, use a chair which has a nice neck support as well. That is also a very good option that you can do at work. So these two things help to reduce pain in the neck and the lower back as well.
All right, doctor. Thank you so much for answering that. So another question by Chakradhar Diki is that my age is 20 years and knee joints getting cracking sound at this age. Is there any solution to stop that joint sounds?
Yeah. So again, this comes back to the runner's knee or the chondromalacia. The cracking sound happens when the lubricant, that's the synovial fluid in the joint, when it doesn't get enough of a flow, it starts to get a little jammed up. So when you move, you get that kind of a cracking sound. And so you shouldn't worry too much about that, as long as it's not painful. Okay. But at the same time, that means that your joint is not getting enough of motion, your quadriceps muscles are not strong enough. You must immediately start these knee exercises, which I told you earlier. Very simple, very easy to do, and they get you an immediate relief, and you don't have to go for any other kind of medication either if you do these exercises properly.
Right, doctor. So I guess, Chakradhar, you've received your answer. So in case you're still having issues, please do reach out online and speak to even Dr. Adarsh on Emsign. So we have Dr. Spoo asking what should be the correct posture to work for long hours. I think we have covered it a bit, but then Doctor, what do you think would be the right thing to do?
As I said, there's a science known as ergonomics. Okay.
Right.
So ergonomics basically means modifying your environment to suit your body.
Right.
So instead of asking your employees to adjust their posture, adjust their timings as per the office available resources, you modify your workstation to suit your body better. That's known as ergonomics. So this includes everything. Includes what is the height of your laptop or your computer. Includes how far away from you the screen has to be. It includes what kind of height your table should be at, and it definitely includes what kind of chair you should be sitting in. So you asked how do you maintain long hours of sitting? So one thing is, as I said, get a perfect chair which has a nice lower back support. Get a chair which gives you a nice neck support. Make sure you have armrests. Many people end up using chairs without an armrest, which is a big no-no. Make sure there is an armrest to rest your elbow on top of that. Secondly, make sure that the screen is just around an arm's length away from you, and with the eyes, with the screen at the eye level, so you don't have to move your neck.
Right, doctor.
Yeah, these are important things for maintaining a posture. Some people even have something known as a standing station. They found that standing up and working is much more comfortable than sitting. So some people have a desk which is like at a standing height. They work on that for a while and then they shift back to the sitting desk as well. You could try that as well. But remember one thing, nowadays most of us are working from home. That is where M-Fine actually has come into the limelight. They're really helping a lot of patients who are unable to get out of home. When you're working from home, don't neglect all these same ergonomics. We feel that, okay, we're at home, we can just relax on the couch and take out a laptop and work for hours together. Not a good idea at all. Try to recreate an office space in your work at home. Make sure that even if you are sitting on the sofa, even if you do have a laptop, get a desk in front of you, get it to the right height, get a proper armrest, and don't just, become like a noodle over there on the couch. It's not good for your neck, nor is it good for your back. So maintain a good office space at home. That's important.
Right. So I guess it's a very important note that people should invest in making sure that their workspace is ergonomically efficient for their back. And because especially in this era where normalcy is waking up from the bed, staying on the laptop and sleeping back right there. So I guess this is an important note for anybody who's working from home. So Ayush Agarwal has come back with another question asking for any other exercises that can be done for back and knees for my mother. She's 48 years old.
Yeah, so these exercises are very standard. There are no specific sets of exercises. You can find these even online. They're very easy, very simple. But the only thing is, the caveat is you have to do them regularly. You can't do one exercise today, then I say, okay, I'll take a break for a week and do it next week. And then even if you're doing it every day, it can't just be for 5 minutes. It has to be around 45 minutes to 1 hour every day without a break in between. It's like you wake up, you brush your teeth, you take a bath. That's like non-negotiable. You should make the exercise also part of your daily routine like that. Then only you will have proper relief from this. Because if you do these well, if you do these exercises well, the knee and the back exercises, you don't need medicines. You will never go to a stage where you need a surgery either, if they're done regularly. If you don't do these, no matter how many medicines you take, it may not actually help you in the long run.
True. So there isn't, so essentially is that there is no quick fix for something, for issues or pains that has come out of lifestyle. So lifestyle habits make way for not only metabolic disorders like diabetes, but they also make way for orthopedic problems.
Yeah, they're all somewhere.
Yes, doctor. So we have Gopal asking, my mom, 52 years, is having pain in leg below knee at night time only. So what do we tell him, doctor?
Below leg is a little vague. I think he means just below the knee joint. Again, if it's mother's age group, that should be above 50-55. So again, usually this is osteoarthritis. Okay, the pain in the knee joint can sometimes spread a little above and little below the knee joint as well. I'll just show my knee over here and show. So the knee pain can spread a little above and a little below as well. So that could be osteoarthritis. It could also be, if it's both the legs, if it's happening all over the leg, it could be a vitamin deficiency as well. Maybe a vitamin B12 or a vitamin D3. These two deficiencies can also cause generalized body pains like that. It could be one of the two. Either get an X-ray done for the knee joint, or get your vitamin D and vitamin B levels checked up, and we should have an idea of how to treat that issue.
Right, doctor. I guess, Gopal, you've received your answer for that. So right now, doctor, another thing that I wanted to add here, so osteoarthritis being one of the reasons why we do partial or total knee replacements. So people are usually very, very skeptical about surgeries, right? But then little do they know that during that age, when once we do the replacement, it's like the success rate as such, or the implants last for like at least in 80% of the cases up to 20 years. So
Yes.
for those who are really afraid of getting a surgery done, even when they are at stage 4, what would your advice be?
Yeah. So very good question you asked. Now the thing is, surgery is scary for anyone. Whether it's for you, whether it's for me, even though I've done like more than 600 surgeries, if I have to undergo it, it's going to be scary. Even if it's just a fingernail removal, it's scary, right? So
Right.
as far as possible, we try to avoid a surgery unless it's the last resort. So as I said, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 of arthritis, still we won't offer a surgery. Once the patient comes to stage 4, that means the gap in between the femur bone and the tibia bone is completely gone. There's no gap whatsoever left over. That the only solution is a surgery there. Now it's just like if you take the example of a car, you keep driving it, the tires wear out, right? Once a tire is worn out, it's not going to regenerate. You have to change the tire, you have to put in a new tire over there. So as you said, it's a very, very successful surgery actually, the total knee replacement. Though it may sound scary that you're completely changing the joint, just think about it. A gap which is completely gone between the two bones. The bones are rubbing and causing pain. With the new implant, the gap comes back again. You can walk freely without any kind of pain, without any kind of a restriction to your motion. So as you said, most of the joints, the well done, successful joints, they last around 15 to 20 years on an average.
Right,
If you're
right.
going to take care of them, if you're going to do your exercises regularly, it can last even longer than that, 25, 30 years also. And usually the age group where the patients come to us for the surgery are above 55 or 60. So that covers most of their lifetime already. And if you think about partial knee replacement, sorry, one second. So a total knee replacement is a complete removal of the complete joint and putting in a new joint. A partial knee replacement can be done in some patients where only part of the joint is worn out. So there's less amount of bone which is cut. So there's even less pain and even faster recovery. So both are wonderful surgeries if required. Again, I will always keep reminding you that it's not required for everyone. Not everyone will benefit from it. You have to be in stage 4 of arthritis, then only you'll benefit from this disease. But when you are in stage 4, you will definitely benefit from the disease, from this procedure.
Right.
Sorry.
Procedure, right, doctor. I guess that is really important, especially because once you reach stage 4, it becomes a very debilitating disorder to have, because it
Exactly.
affects your quality of life so badly that getting a knee replacement might fix it and improve your quality of life.
Yes, you
Especially
used a
post-50.
wonderful term here called quality of life. Pain is one thing. A lot of people can tolerate a lot of pain, especially Indians. I have seen women who have suffered for almost 15 to 20 years with knee pain and coming after 20 years of knee pain. So we have high tolerance for pain. But it's the quality of life which actually should push you towards the procedure. What that means is, if you're unable to get up on your own, go to the washroom. Okay, if you're not even able to go to the toilet without somebody's support or somebody's help, or if you're not able to go to the kitchen to cook something, cook a meal for your family, then you know that something is wrong. Your quality of life has come down. And then a lot of people feel shy, they feel embarrassed, they feel ashamed to take help from others, which is very understandable. People want to be independent. It's that stage
Right.
that you have to get the procedure done. You can get back on your feet, you can move around, you can do all the activities, you can go to the washroom, you can cook, you can go walking. You don't need to depend on anyone. So quality of life is very important. I keep telling my patients, even if the pain is more, the day you feel that you're not able to do your daily activities, that's the day you should come and get operated by me.
Absolutely, doctor. I guess I would definitely agree to that, since now, and another observation is that these patients that actually come with knee pain and have suffered from it for a long time, they have also they do develop some kind of obesity too, like from the time they've been not able to do normal work as such. So additive problems, and then which end up getting diagnosed at the same time. So I guess early detection is key. And so we are right now in the middle of this Diwali Detox live session with Dr. Adarsh Annappa Reddy, orthopedic and joint replacement surgeon. To those who have just joined, we have completed talking about knee pain in general, osteoarthritis in the elderly. We've talked about the ergonomic posture, the right posture for work. We've talked about what kind of mattress or what kind of sleeping habit is good for your spine. We've also talked about severe backache. We've talked about total and partial knee replacements and improving of quality of life while living with osteoarthritis.
You're bringing up some really good questions today. You spoke about how the knee pain is again linked to obesity, especially in the lockdown period and everything. So yes, there is a vicious cycle that starts to build in. When you have knee pain, a lot of ladies and a lot of men in the older age group, when they have a lot of knee pain, they stop walking. They're not able to go out and do the walks and everything. So you're not getting any exercise. Then indirectly what happens is you start to gain weight. Once you gain weight, what happens is all that weight falls again on the knee joint. And then the knee joint starts to wear out even more and the pain increases. It becomes a vicious cycle. So you can't break it. The only way to break it is either start medication and start the exercises, or if it's in a very severe stage, get the procedure done as a knee replacement, either a partial or a total. Then the knee pain reduces. Then you can start walking and the obesity and the weight gain reduces and the knee pain reduces. It's all again a positive vicious cycle. So you have to break that cycle somewhere.
Yes, absolutely, because that cycle can also new arrows can emerge from that particular cycle.
Because diabetes, hypertension can all be linked to that.
Yes, because as you end up growing older, you end up having your risk of developing these kind of disorders also increases exponentially, and that knee pain is not going to help you with it. So for those who have just joined, I have mentioned what we've talked about, and in case you have similar queries, you can actually go back. This video will be saved in later, and you will be able to look at those answers. So we'll move on to the next question. So somebody asks, complete ACL tear with complex meniscus tear required surgery only, or we can go through non-operative rehabilitation. So somebody with a complete ACL and meniscal tear is asking about what options he's got.
Yeah, wonderful question again. Hold on, let this truck go by. Okay. Okay, so technology has advanced so much and I'm not able to get a good internet spot. Fantastic. Okay, so ACL tear, and ACL is basically a ligament which joins both knees of the knee joint. It joins the femur and the tibia. It basically acts as a stabilizer of the knee joint. It's just like a stabilizer of a car. So it consists of multiple fibers. It's not just a single strand of fiber. There are multiple fibers which constitute the ACL. So when a tear usually happens when there's a twisting injury to the knee, either when you're playing football or badminton or some kind of a dancing. These kind of injuries can cause an ACL tear. So when an ACL tear happens, it can either be a partial tear or a complete tear. Now, by a partial tear, what I mean is, let's imagine that this is the ligament between the two bones. If a partial tear happens, 2 or 3 fibers may be torn, but the rest of the fibers are still intact. So the function of stabilizing the knee joint is still happening, so you don't have to get a surgery done in that phase. Now, if you get a complete tear, what happens is all the fibers are gone. So there's no connection between the femur and the tibia bone. So what happens in that stage is, there's an instability in the knee joint. So when you're walking, you can suddenly feel that your knee is going to give way and you may fall over. Okay? So that's a very common symptom of complete ACL tear. That is giving way sensation, it's called. And it goes to such a bad extent that people with a complete ACL tear, they feel scared to cross the road because they may fall down in the middle of the road. So once you feel that, okay, no, I'm getting this instability, I feel that my knee is going to give way, and some people actually do fall, that's when you know that a surgery is required. Yes, you can definitely try with some non-operative treatments. Okay, these are again physiotherapy exercises are there. You have to use a hinged knee brace for a while, and there's no harm in trying even for a month or 2. But if it's getting really bad, after 2 months, it's not really helping, you have to get a procedure done. The procedure is known as an arthroscopy. Okay, this is a keyhole surgery. Arthro means joint and scope means a camera. So all you're doing is you're not opening up the whole joint. You're just making a small hole at the knee joint, putting in a camera into that small hole, and then you fix whatever has been torn over there. So the answer to the question, direct answer to the question is, if it's a complete tear with a complex meniscus injury, you may require an arthroscopic surgery in the future. You can definitely try for a month or 2 without surgery. If it's not getting better, definitely go ahead with the procedure. It's a very good procedure. Again, I can give you examples of some sportsmen like Cristiano Ronaldo and Yuvraj Singh, the cricketer. These two have had ACL tears and have had ACL reconstructions by arthroscopy, and both of them got back to sports as well. So it's a very good surgery. Myself, I had a meniscus tear when I was in MBBS, and I had to get operated for that because it was a severe tear. If it is a minor tear, it's not required. If it is a severe tear, I had to get an arthroscopy done. I'm absolutely fine. I don't even remember which knee it is now. So it's a very good procedure.
Yes, absolutely. Because I guess also because since we're again talking about again quality of life ends up being a very important factor here too, and you end up so this is ACL tear is pretty common in younger athletes and the ones in who are in sports. So obviously, especially if they have a career in sports, it's even more important that they address it as soon as possible. So, Doctor, we have so now let's move from people who are working from home. We have somebody called Nightingale who's asking, my age is 21. I am a nurse and I'm having lower knee pain at tibial tuberosity. It's like quite specific.
Yes.
So, what do we do?
Right. So pain at the tibial tuberosity, it can be because of something known as a bursitis. Okay.
Right.
BURSITIS. So Dr. Pranthya may be knowing what that is, but even the person who asked, you said is a nurse, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So she also may know what a bursa is. A bursa is basically like a small balloon kind of a thing or a small bubble, which is there in some parts of the joints. Okay. It just acts like you could say it acts like a kind of a lubricant.
Right.
Okay, so especially at the knee joint near the tibial tuberosity, there is a bursa over there. So it helps for the smooth gliding of the knee joint. So sometimes what happens is because of excess pressure or strain on that joint, or for whatever reason, if you suddenly start exercising after like long months of inaction, these bursae may get inflamed. Okay, they may get irritated. That's called as an inflammation. So the bursa becomes inflamed. That is known as bursitis. So for that, what you need to do first thing is rest. I don't know how far that's possible. You're being a nurse and having to work every day, but as far as possible, at least for a couple of weeks, try to get some good rest. Anti-inflammatory medication for a week to 10 days. Rest, ice pack application, and putting on a knee brace will help. But it takes a while, maybe 10 days to 2 weeks is the time period usually to get the relief from that.
There's a common question about how, if there are any particular food habits. So since diet is a very important part, and out from diet we do get a lot of joint issues, including say hyperuricemia. Hyperuricemia can lead to joint aches and everything. So in general, how joint strengthening as well as good for bone health foods. So what would your advice be on that?
That's a good question, a very commonly asked question to me. The thing is, a lot of people get confused between bone strength and joint strength. Okay, they're two different things. Usually, there's no particular food which will affect joint pain, except when you're talking about something like hyperuricemia or, in common terms, gout. Gout is one thing which affects the joint of the toes, especially when the uric acid goes above 7.
Yes.
Yeah, that's when the crystals form and they form in the joint, and this is known as gout. Now, in that condition, you have to stop taking in proteins. So usually people who eat a lot of non-vegetarian food like mutton and red meat like that, they have to hold back on that for a few days. And beer and like alcohol intake also helps to increase the uric acid. So that has to be refrained from as well. So non-vegetarian food and alcohol intake has to be reduced for the time being in gout. But other joint pains, they don't really have much to do with food, except for you have to reduce the whole body weight overall. So nothing specifically going to affect the knee joint per se, but indirectly extra weight is going to cause pressure on the joints. So that's one thing. Now, if you're talking about bone strength, that's a different question altogether. Okay, so vitamin D, very important for bone strength. And for vitamin D and calcium, the good foods are milk and dairy products like cheese, yogurts, and green leafy vegetables like spinach and fish. Fish is also very good with rich with vitamin D and calcium. So these are the different foods which will help in bone strength.
Right. Something that really affects men a lot over 40 years of age, and with the addition of smoking, addition of vitamin D and calcium deficiency, they end up being very, very prone to osteoporosis and the risk of osteoporotic fractures. So a little light on that too, doctor?
Yes. So osteoporosis is a very common problem. It's a very it's so common that people don't take it too seriously, but actually it has to be taken very seriously. What it means is, osteo means bone, porosis means porosity, it becomes very soft. So the bones become very soft and porous. So that means like when the bone is supposed to be, let's say, X amount of strength. In osteoporotic patients, that becomes X by 2 and sometimes even X by 3. So the strength of the bone reduces greatly. So it's very important to have good calcium in the diet. As you said, smoking, alcohol, low calcium and vitamin D in the diet, and age itself. All these are different factors which can cause osteoporosis. When osteoporosis happens, the bones sometimes get so weak that even regular small activities like a heavy sneeze or just sitting down suddenly, these can cause fractures of the bones. The bones become so
Right.
soft, right?
Right.
And that can cause fracture of the hip bone or the lower spine bones. So osteoporosis is very important to avoid. How to avoid that? From a very early age itself, make sure that your calcium and vitamin D intake is very good. Okay?
Right.
Do physical activities. A lot of people think that if I
Right.
do more physical activities, bones become weak. It's the other way around. If you don't do any physical activity, your bones are going to start thinking that they don't need to do much, and they start losing calcium.
Right.
Okay, so
Right.
you have to have good physical activity, especially above the age of 50 when the bones are already much weaker. Tell your parents
Right.
and your grandparents, take a 2.5 kg weight. Doesn't have to be very heavy. 2.5 kg weight. Just do a bit of weightlifting around 15 minutes, 30 minutes a day is enough. And a good half an
Right.
hour walk around the balcony is very good for the bones. So, as I said, just lifting a very minimal weight and walking around for maybe half an hour on the balcony, these are all very good for the bones. And another thing, especially in the younger age group, before 8 a.m. in the morning, sit for half an hour in the sun. It's very important. Morning coffee, morning newspaper, you sit in the balcony and do that. The reason for this is
Yes.
there is an inactive form of vitamin D in our skin, in everybody's skin.
Yes.
That's not activated. When it's exposed to the ultraviolet rays of the sun, that inactive vitamin D gets activated, and that helps to bring the calcium to the bones. So that's why it's very
Right.
important to get at least half an hour of sunlight exposure every day. These help prevent osteoporosis.
Right, doctor. Thank you so much for answering that. That was something that even I wanted to personally know more about. So I guess we have a few more questions.
Sure.
So knee pain, but they've asked in Telugu. So I know a little bit of Telugu, so I'll just say it out loud in Telugu and then I'll try to I'll say what I understood from it.
Let me
Someone's
see if I
asked
can.
about, sir, నాకు ACL సర్జరీ జరిగింది. ఉషాజ్ asking this, but pain బాగా వస్తుంది. ఎక్కువ సేపు నిలబడలేను. Knee pains
Okay.
వస్తున్నాయి. And then she's also added that 2017 లో left leg కి జరిగింది, but ఇప్పుడు right leg కూడా pain వస్తుంది. Both legs. I'm 36 now. So to the readers here, I mean to the viewers here, I guess Usha is 36 years old and she's had pain in both her knees, and she's also had ACL surgery in 2017 in the left leg, and now right leg, and she's got pain even after that. So, Doctor, would you
Yeah.
like to say something?
Usha
And
garu,
you can tell her in Telugu too. Yeah.
Sure, definitely.
Yeah. Right.
ఉషా గారు, ఏసీఎల్ సర్జరీ తర్వాత ఎక్సర్సైజ్ చాలా ముఖ్యం అండి. సో సర్జరీ తర్వాత అంత నార్మల్ అయిపోతుంది అంటే అట్లా అవ్వదు, ఎప్పుడు అవ్వదు. సో కొత్త లిగమెంట్ వేసాం లోపల, అంటే మీ మేలేదు ఎవరైతే వేసారో కొత్త లిగమెంట్ వేసారు. సో ఆ లిగమెంట్ కి సపోర్ట్ చేయాలి ఎప్పుడు. సో ఆ సపోర్ట్ కోసం చాలా ఎక్సర్సైజెస్ చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్. అది లైఫ్ లాంగ్ చేస్తూనే ఉండాలి. లైఫ్ లాంగ్ అంటే రోజంతా చేయక్కర్లేదు, రోజుకు ఒక 45 minutes చేసినా చాలు. సో ఆ లిగమెంట్ చుట్టుపక్కల ఉన్న కండలన్నిటికీ బలం రావాలి, క్వాడ్రిసెప్స్ మసిల్ కి బలం రావాలి. సో మీకు ఆపరేషన్ టైం నేర్పించుంటారు ఎక్సర్సైజెస్, కానీ ఏమవుతుందంటే 1 month 2-3 months తర్వాత మర్చిపోతాం. ఓకే సరే ఆపరేషన్ అయిపోయింది కదా, ఇంకెందుకు ఎక్సర్సైజ్ చేయాలి అని అనుకుంటారు. అట్లా చేయకూడదు ఎప్పుడు. ఆ ఎక్సర్సైజ్ కంటిన్యూ చేస్తూనే ఉండాలి. అట్లా చేస్తే ఆ లోపల ఉన్న లిగమెంట్ కి మంచిగా సపోర్ట్ వస్తుంది, ఆ పెయిన్ తగ్గుతుంది, అండ్ దాని లైఫ్ పెరుగుతుంది అనమాట. సో ఈ ఎక్సర్సైజెస్ చాలా సీరియస్ గా రెగ్యులర్ గా చేయాలి. అప్పుడు డెఫినెట్ గా ఏసీఎల్ సర్జరీ చాలా మంచి ఆపరేషన్ అది. ఆ ఆపరేషన్ తర్వాత పెయిన్ రావడానికి రీజన్ ఏం లేదు యాక్చువల్ గా, ఎందుకంటే లిగమెంట్ కొత్తగా వచ్చేసింది కాబట్టి. ఓన్లీ రీజన్ ఏంటంటే వీక్నెస్ ఉండటం వల్ల. దాని గురించి మీరు ఎక్సర్సైజ్ చేయాలి.
Right. Right, doctor. So a little bit of translation that I'm going to do is that I guess doctor is talking about the fact that there needs to be strengthening of that particular joint post the surgery, and then we need to be really good and consistent in physical activity without fail.
Yes.
And especially the exercises that have been prescribed to you in particular to strengthen the joint.
The specific exercises, yes.
Yes. So once you do that, I guess again it's a slow process. You will need to have patience, and you will need to, of course, consistency. Like Doctor said, you'll have to be consistent, and you will have to make sure you're doing it on a regular basis. So, all right,
Yes.
Doctor, we have somebody else who was asked about. I guess it's a very vague question about knee pain. So, it's like for many aged people, the most common issue is to get pain in knee. what is the solution for this? Can this be completely cured? So again, I think this is again about osteoarthritis as such. I guess we can just throw a little bit of light as to how one can detect osteoarthritis, or how one can figure out that they need help.
Yes.
Could you share some light on that?
Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll classify knee pains into two categories. One is knee pain in the younger age group. One is knee pain in the older age group. Okay.
Yes,
So I'll talk about older age group first because that's the most common one. Okay. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes,
So,
doctor. Yes.
yeah. So this is known as osteoarthritis, where I said the cartilage in the knee joint starts to wear away. It's wearing out of the knee joint. It is wear and tear. It is age related.
Right.
So how do you notice it? It usually starts above 55 years of age or above 50. In women, it starts a little earlier. The knee starts to hurt. It can start any part of the joint, but usually it's in the medial or the inner side of the knee joint where the pain usually starts. You will find that the pain increases when you're sitting on the floor, or if you're sitting for a very long time and getting up from that sitting position, when you're climbing up and down stairs. These kind of activities aggravate the pain. So that's one more point which will clinch the diagnosis. Okay.
Right.
Now, as I said, you have to diagnose it properly. For that, you have to get an X-ray. Usually an X-ray is more than enough. You don't need to get an MRI done for that. And in the X-ray, what you'll find is the gap in between both the bones has completely gone. If it's stage 1, stage 2, the gap is reduced. Stage 3, it's reduced even more. In stage 4, there's no gap at all. That's how you diagnose this pain in osteoarthritis. How to diagnose osteoarthritis. Now let's go to knee pain in the younger age group. A lot of people are getting knee pain nowadays, especially even 30, 40-year-olds, and they get very worked up and stressed out and they get scared. Do I have arthritis? Am I going to need a surgery? No, don't worry. It's a very common thing. It's known as runner's knee, as I said, chondromalacia. Again, here the pain is usually on the anterior part of the joint. So I'm just going to show my knee joint over here. Arthritis pain is usually on the inner side of the joint, and this chondromalacia pain is usually on the anterior part of the joint. I don't know if you could see that. Right? And again, it's usually seen after sitting for more than an hour at a desk and getting up from that position. Okay? And what you'll also find is, if you sit for very long, more than an hour and a half, that's when the pain increases more. Okay? So again, this is known as chondromalacia. What we do is get an X-ray, no need of an MRI. And in the X-ray, we find that the gap has not reduced, but we find that the patella bone, that is the knee cap bone, it's slightly tilted to one side. So that usually gives us a diagnosis. Again, in younger age, knee pain can also be because of an injury where you have these ACL tears and meniscus tears. That you'll have a history of some kind of twisting of the joint. And there you may require an MRI to diagnose, because soft tissues like ligaments and meniscus, you can't see on a regular X-ray. So that's how you diagnose the different kinds of knee pain.
Right, doctor. Thank you so much for answering that. I think it covered up pretty much everything. So somebody was here is asking about diet-related queries. I'd like to say this was about knee and back pain issues, and we have another live later at the end of on 19th. So I guess you can join in and ask your queries related to diet there. So, doctor, with respect to so I guess we'll just take up one last quick question, because there are a lot of questions coming in now, but we don't have time. So I just somebody is asking about morning stiffness in the back, and I thought it's very important to talk about this. So what would you think we should tell?
Yeah. So as I said, lower back pain can be usually mechanical issues because of weak muscles around the back. Now, if your pain is specifically, and if it's only a stiffness and not a pain, and if it's only happening in the morning time, it could be something other than a regular mechanical strain. It could be something known as rheumatoid arthritis or an ankylosing spondylitis if it's a very severe stiffness. Okay? And this kind of stiffness usually happens in the morning time, rheumatoid arthritis kind of stiffness. And not only in the back, stiffness in your fingers, in the knee joints, sometimes in the hip. So all your joints become stiff and swollen up. And after maybe a half an hour of moving around, it starts to reduce. So these kind of things are usually seen in something known as rheumatoid arthritis, which is different from osteoarthritis. This is a hereditary thing, and this affects people in a younger age group around 30 years. Okay, and for this you have to get some blood tests done to confirm, and you have to start some different kind of medication for rheumatology problems. So you have to just check whether your joint pain and the stiffness is only in the back, or whether it's happening in other joints as well. If only in the back, regular exercises and medicines should do the trick.
Right, doctor. Thank you so much for answering this. I guess we will wrap up the session at this point. So all of you who are asking questions and you would like more clarity, please speak to Expeditions online on MSign, and we also have Dr. Adarsh on MSign, and he'll be available on it. So, doctor, I guess now I'm losing you right now. So I hope you can hear me. Thank you so much for joining in.
I can hear you.
All right. Thank you so much for joining in all the way from Hyderabad, and to have given us time on a Sunday and during the festive season. So, doctor, thank you so much. I will just wrap up everything for the audience and close it. So, so the tips. Yes. Thank you so much, doctor. So, I would like to summarize what we have learned from this session, everybody. So, tips to actually deal with knee and back pain issues, as well as dealing with how to keep your bones and joints, healthy. So, so you have to do consistent physical activities. You will have to make sure that you're doing it on a regular basis without fail. And then you have to take care of your posture. We have talked about what is the right posture for work, right posture for sleeping. And we've also talked about maintaining your vitamin D and calcium levels. We've also talked about the fact that, we talked about runner's knee, we've talked about osteoarthritis, we've talked about basically major reasons why knee pain and back pain issues happen. Yes. So the end point is that while you do lifestyle changes, you will also have to remember that early detection is key.
Yes.
So,
as well, I know I'm almost out of time. Because it's
right.
a festive season, I wanted to mention a couple of points specifically for the festive season.
Right.
Right. When you're going to have a lot of pujas and a lot of prayer times at this time, and you're going to have a lot of people over at home. So make sure, especially the elder people are above 50, when you're doing your pujas, do it. No, there's no doubt this is a very wonderful season. But make sure that you're not sitting cross-legged or not sitting down for too long. Try to get a chair or a stool. God's not going to feel bad if you're going to sit on a chair and do a prayer. Nobody's going to feel bad. God's not going to feel bad. So you sit on a chair and do your prayers. And when you're lighting your diyas or when you're bursting your firecrackers as well, try not to strain too much in the back. Okay, so you have to take care of your body at the end of the day. So in this season, pay a little attention to these things as well, and you should be okay.
Right, doctor. So to wrap up, guys, thank you so much for joining us on the session. We'll be ending it now, and our Diwali Detox Week is in progress, and it will be there until 19th, and you will be able to also receive offers and health bonuses on the MSign app. So I guess the takeaway from this point is that if you have issues, please do reach out to doctors who are there constantly on the MSign app, including Dr. Adarsh. And also, please do remember that this is a festive season and you need to be kind to yourself as well as kind to people around you. So definitely. That is a definite takeaway from what we've learned about knee and back pain issues. Thank you so much, doctor, and see you again.
So
and have a really nice weekend.
Thank you. Same day. Happy Diwali. Again, I'm sorry for the technical glitches.
No, that's all right. We'll fix it next time. Thank you.